Hi, Kathleen, Evie, Leah, Lindsay, Anne, Angel Star. Oh wait, I have to go online um on Instagram. Oh wait, there you go. Okay, I'm on now on Instagram. Okay, let me continue my greeting. Um, uh, where am I? Dalewood, Leah, Evie. Okay, wait. Okay, there you go. Carol, Lucy in the Sky, Marie, Elaine, Beth, Nigma, C. Not, Han, Curl, Curl Bitter, Curl Bitter, Jelma, Melanie, Salmart. It's a lot of new names. Han, Dodger Girl on Twitch, CDV BTS Butterfly, Robin, BTS Paved the Way, Iris, Consuelo, Beth, Carla Girl, Orchid, Rachel, Marilyn, Googie, EG, Lily, Kez, Tickles World, MLB, Nigma, Disha, A Brown, Mama Ja, Debbie, Borowinkle, BTS Paved the Way, Kathleen. Hi, everybody. Okay, wait. All right, let me see. Okay, Thea. Hi, how was your weekend? I hope everyone had a good time. Okay, wait, let me get my. There you go. My dog is outside. He doesn't like me right now because I was talking to a friend of mine just before I went on live, and he's asking for some favor. And he thought I was already starting my live, so he wanted to sit on my lap, and I still had to finish some stuff, and so I was like pushing him away, and now he doesn't like me. So he didn't want to go in my room. What I was calling him. So let's see if he changes his mind in a bit. Blue Cherry. Jin's live was great. I haven't watched it. I was at work the entire day, and I wish like my work is not. I do marketing, so it's not like it's repetitive, it's not routinary, so I need to concentrate on work when I am at work. So I haven't watched it. I've missed a lot already. I haven't watched any of J-Hope's live. um I haven't watched Jin's live. So yeah, I've missed a lot. Personal space. Hi. BTS Paved the Way. It's not as cold as Melbourne here in Darwin, but it's pretty cold here for Darwin. Carla Girl. Hi. Poor pup. I know. But Saturday, I took my car to Toyota for maintenance. So I didn't want to wait in the service center. So we went out to I took him to the park. He had a lot of fun. So we stayed there for like 2 hours in the park. So he was already tired. And then we got to Toyota. I still had to wait a bit more because they were short two people. And people were just playing with him. So he was like playing for 5 straight hours. And he was so freaking tired. When we got here, like he didn't want to move. I had to force him to go out to walk. He was just like not having it. He was so tired. But now he's fully recovered. J Hope watching Army as they leave the venue is another level. Oh, I've heard about that. I have heard about that he was asked that he was watching J Hope leave the venue. So yeah, J Hope was watching armies leave the venue. That I've heard of. So a lot of things have actually happened the last several days. Um, I know that I know that armies are actually starting to like start some projects for their return. And so I don't have any plans of starting any projects, some simply because I'm just too busy right now. I'm trying to finish the website. I'm trying to get some people to work on the website, get some more articles going, and then uh, just stuff like for the business. So I don't think I can start a project, but I would be happy to participate in any kind of project. If you know of any that's good, recommend them to me and I will promote it. But right now I can't start any for their return. Hopefully though, by the time that they announce their tour, things are a little bit more settled. Yeah, there's always like, so this is some of the things that a business owner thinks of. Like one of the thing I've never really sourced for funding for my business. So, but I've gotten to that point where things are evolving so fast. So, like, I'm thinking, should I get funding? And it's easy actually to get funding in the US if you have a small business. It's pretty easy. A lot of people don't know that. They think that it's difficult to get. It's actually easy to get funding. But I just, if you get funding, you need to pay for, stuff like that. So, I still have to think about it, but it's easy to get. So if you get it, I'll be able to do certain things that I've been holding off on simply because that requires money. So, okay. Um, where is that? I'm running very late. Hi, Bang Luna. No, I just started. I was just ranting about thinking about whether or not I should get funding for my business or not. That's the only thing that you missed. Jin does not set ticket prices. Okay, let's start with Jin since you mentioned it. So there's been a lot of, because he's very active right now, as J Hope's activities are winding down. Although I think he's going to release an album as per the prediction of the finance industry. I think so. He's the one who's sort of becoming more active, and I think the main difference between him and J Hope is that he is doing a lot of face-to-face interaction, right? J Hope, because he's touring, his face-to-face interaction is during his performance, and then he would do live streaming after. But for Jin, he's really making an effort to meet armies face-to-face, which you really have to appreciate because not a lot of artists would actually go out of their way to try and meet their fans. But he has always been like this guy that goes out of his way to meet armies, because remember when he first was discharged from the military, the first thing that he wanted to do was do the the embrace project. So, and he wanted to do it open air, just like anybody who comes in, he would be, of course that's not possible for security, and so they had to compromise. At first he wanted 3,000 people, until Big Hit convinced him to only do 1,000, which I believe he was not happy about because he realized he can actually do more. So I kind of like, we need to appreciate that of Jin. He is really making a lot of effort to try and meet with armies. And then the recent one where he spent time with armies, and apparently the event was actually free. And an incident happened, right? So, okay. And so during the his conversation with Army, someone actually complained about the ticket. Now, to be fair, we don't know if it was a joke. We don't know if they didn't really mean it to be a complaint, but that's what it felt like, that they were actually that the army was actually, or armies were complaining about the ticket prices. So they said that it was too expensive and that he should try to pull down the price. And so you can see that he was a bit surprised with that. I don't think that, of all the things that he could have expected, I don't think that was one of the things that he thought he was going to hear that day, because the truth is that his ticket prices are actually pretty good. It's like, um, it's really low. Yeah, I mean, super affordable. I did not know that he would go that low in terms of ticket prices. And so I was surprised that somebody would actually say that to him, in his face in a public place. So let's just go through um, some things. So to be very clear, because I think these people have this notion that if the tour grows 57.2 million, that the artist will actually bring home 57.2 million. Uh, that is not true. If you gross 57.2 million, an artist will be lucky to bring home 30% of that, which I think is unfair. I feel like they should be getting at least 50%, ideally 70, but that does not happen. Okay, so let's just go through how much it actually costs, right? So for August D, let's just take that because that is readily available now. For J Hope, Hope on the stage, we don't know yet how much the gross will be. But for Suga's concert, we know that it is 57.2 million. Jessica said that she heard it's a mistranslation. Okay, so if anybody knows what the proper translation is, please bring it forward so that we all get corrected on what that translation is. So, but let's just go through it. So, 57.2 million gross, right? So, let's just say for easy math, it's 57 million. Let's just say taxes and fees is 20%, which is not 20%. It's probably closer to 30%. Let's just say 20%, right? So of the 57 million, 11.4 million automatically goes to taxes and fees, not just taxes, but also fees. Okay, so 57.2 million, that means they are left with 45.6 million. Okay. An arena is about a million per night. That's about a million per night. And so at 28 venues, 28 nights, which is the total amount of concerts that of days that Suga actually did. So that's automatically take out the 28 million. He's left with 17 million point six, 17 million point six. And this is 30% of the 57 million. So you would think that at the very least he would take home 30%, right? So he should take home 17.6 million, at least in my ideal world. No, sorry. My ideal world is that he takes 50%. But then you have to pay your staff. You have to pay that includes makeup artists, stylists, production assistants, directors, whatever. And then you have to pay other artists because he had a live band. So you need to pay for that. And then he's paying for his guests because that is a union rule. So probably not much, but because we know BTS, they like paying people a lot of money. So they probably gave their guests their fair share. So you have your staff, you have your artists, and then you have insurances, which is also not cheap. And then you have to pay for the set. BTS does not compromise when it comes to the quality of their production. So that set and the cost it and the amount it costs to transport that set from one place to another, that's not a joke. And then you have travel expenses. So your 17 million is probably going to go down to about 10 if you're lucky. Most likely he will be left with 7.6 million. And the problem is that you would think that that's a lot of money. But remember, this is 10 years of work all in one concert. 10 years of professional work, and then that does not include training. So you're not, when you go to a concert, you're not just paying for the 3 hours of work. You're paying him for the work that he has been doing since he started. So let's just say for the sake of this discussion, if he earns 5 million, do you think it's really enough for 10 years of work? It isn't enough, right? So let's when we see the amount of gross revenue that they got, remember that does not go to them, that and not everything goes to them. They have to pay for the venue, they have to pay for taxes and fees, they have to pay for staff, insurances, other artists, and of course, the agency has to take their cut. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. And Jin's price is really low. It's really low compared to other concerts, and compared to the kind of artist that he is, it's super low. So I think the complaint about his ticket, and assuming that it is not a mistranslation, but if it is a mistranslation, if anybody knows what was said, let us know the proper translation so we can all be in the know so that we know better. But that is not in any way, shape, or form, however you look at it, it is not a reasonable complaint because it is not expensive. The tickets aren't expensive. Okay. It costs a lot. Okay. And then you have to consider inflation. This is the amount of inflation year per year since 2015. Okay. So 2021, 2020, that's when pandemic, the year of the pandemic, for 1.4%, 7%. And usually the inflation rate that the government releases is actually manipulated to make it look lower. So you probably be closer to actual inflation if you multiply it by, if you double the inflation that they're releasing, the inflation amount that they're releasing. So if they say that inflation is 7, that's probably 14, something like that. They like manipulating it to make themselves look better. So 7%, 6.5, 3.4. Just think about it this way. Is your $100 back in 2020 still as powerful as it is today? Can you still buy the same stuff? Probably not. For sure not. Everything went up. And so don't, if everything went up, then the expenses or the cost to put up a concert is probably also going to go up. So don't expect them to keep the same pricing because they are not spending the same amount. They're spending more. Okay. So, and that, of course, there's a huge amount of concentration on the US because a lot of dates will be in the US. He has a lot of stops in the US. And then the other thing is that would you ask this to lower their ticket prices in public? This is top tier performers, artists, Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Will you ask them to lower their prices in public? Probably not, right? Because you would respect them. You know the kind of stature that they have. We will never, BTS, if we want BTS to be treated with the same class, with the same respect, then we have to treat them the same way we're treating this artist, with a lot of respect. And calling them out in public is not respect. I'm not saying that you shouldn't complain or that you shouldn't feel bad or you shouldn't feel frustrated. Just don't do it in public. Okay. So they are, BTS, special, and Jin, including Jin, is a top tier elite performer, and we need to treat them that way. The only way people are going to learn how to properly treat them is if we show them how. So as armies, I think it we should be the ones to lead in demonstrating how BTS should be treated. And they aren't a fly by night performer that you can bargain with. You won't even bargain with a clown, right? If you hire someone, a clown, for your birthday party, you're not going to bargain their price, but you're bargaining the price of an elite performer. I mean, come on. That is, and you do it in public. Okay. Um, the other thing is that as rude as it may seem, you really don't have to watch. No one is required to watch their concert. And I've been saying this over and over again. If you're having financial difficulties, please prioritize your bill, prioritize your healthcare, prioritize your rent, your food. You pay for concerts like this only if you have enough money to actually spend. But if there are other things in your life that's going on, please prioritize all of that. Don't prioritize the concert. BTS is already giving us a lot of free content, way more than other artists are giving. And I am very, very sympathetic. I know how frustrating it could be to really support and like an artist and not have the resources to watch them. But the truth is that it is a it's a luxury. It's not a necessity. Watching a concert live is a luxury. It's not a necessity. So as much as I understand the frustration, don't take it out on an artist, on the artist, especially not BTS. If you're frustrated that you don't have enough, you can do two things. To, for now, while things aren't better, not watch, or just save, just like us mere mortals are doing. I'm saving for this concert, right? I sacrifice a lot of things for this concert. I'm working my job, my full-time job. I have a business, I have this, and I am looking for ways on how to put some money in my savings so that I can watch their concert. But the one thing I won't do is ask them to pull their price down just so they can accommodate me. It's not fair because they aren't pulling back on the kind of preparation that they're doing for BTS, for armies, I mean. Okay, I'm living in Korea right now. I'm gonna ask other K armies. The other thing I think I was kind of frustrated about is the fact that no one spoke up for Jin. Like, it was very obvious that he was uncomfortable with the question. Um, but not a single person in that venue was like made an effort to try and make him feel better. I think that was a little surprising for me. Like, there were many of you in that venue and it was a free event, but when Jin couldn't say anything, no one even said like, "Oh my god, this is the it's more affordable than other concerts," or that I would pay double if for him because of the quality of his performance and him as an artist. Just no one even thought about saying something in favor of Jin. Like, he was silent for several seconds and no one made an effort to make him feel better. I think that's I just felt so bad for Jin, and I felt it was just unfair that he put up all of this. He prepared the entire thing. Of course, he spent for it. I mean, beat big hit. Well, that comes off his payment. So he spent for all of these things, made sure that it is free for everybody. And there are two, three people that said something, and the rest couldn't say anything to make him feel better. Um, Jess Joy said armies did speak up. Okay, what did they say in the venue? What did they say? He was totally shocked. Okay, what did they say? Jessica, what did they say? I'll wait for your response. When it comes, I'll put it on screen. Okay, so I hope that we we start treating BTS the way we would treat other elite performers. Um, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, the Beatles, the remaining members that are alive. I hope that we would regard them with the same respect, even though they're trying their very best um, to be friendlier, to be closer to BTS. Um, Even though they're trying their very best to be more friendly and more relatable, I hope we don't take advantage of it, because let's always keep in mind that at the end of the day, they still are professionals. How would you feel if you were asked to lower your rate as a professional? Like, if you're working and in public, so you say your price, and then everyone knows your price, and then in public somebody tells you, can you pull down your price because we can't afford it. It's insulting. So I hope that we regard them um, with the same respect uh, as we respect other artists. Okay, Jessica said, I tried to copy what I saw on X, but there isn't enough room. There's someone else who said, Leia said, check the comments. People are saying people did speak up. They said it was not expensive and they changed the subject. Okay, good. If they did that, that's good. Let's see if there's someone here who actually said what happened. It was really hard to see the expression in Jin's face after that comment, trying to shame. Okay, but they said that there's some people here. Are you talking about this comment section? Okay, so somebody said someone posted the comment. I hate to say this and I may be way off mark here, but in the event like this anywhere else but Korea, that would never happen. Um, so Eve, this price complainers are sassings. Remember that fan events are free. Haters, sassings, and antis can get in. K Army said translation was wrong. Carla Girl said K Army said translation was wrong and they defended Jin. K Army said the prices were fine. It was only one army who complained and that others defended Jin. She posted it on X. Okay. If you can give me the link, even if on Patreon, I'll post it here so everyone can see. Patreon or yeah, better Patreon. I'll post it here so everyone can see. If you want to give me the link to the armies who defended. So someone told me that the person who complained is actually a hater of BTS, but I guess they just like going to the events of BTS to mess the event, or to just spread negativity, I guess. So someone actually sent me a link to the identity of the person. Um, and they said that if we want, we can actually report the person to HYBE. So someone on X sent me the identity of the person. The thing is that I can't verify if that was a person or not, so I couldn't put it here. So I am I going to take one person's word for it? I don't know, but someone sent me the identity of the person, so it was a link to the person's profile, but what they wanted was for everybody to report it to Big Hit so that that person doesn't get allowed in uh, the event anymore. So, but as I've said, I can't verify whether the information was correct or not. Okay. Disha, so let's see. Jessica said, Army next to her told her off that she should just not go instead of complaining. Good. That is good. Let's see if there are other more comments here. They feel the concert wasn't even supposed to happen, but Jin really wanted to do this for armies, honestly. Show some respect and humility. Why would you want to hurt his feelings? So if you send me the link to Patreon, just let me know that you've sent it. I'll check it and I can post it here so that we all know um, who it was who posted the corrected translation and if someone defended Jin. I hope the person that took those actions is reported and that they will be banned. I hope that Big Hit would have been able to identify them. Apparently, she's a known anti. She's a known hater. Oh, Bang Luna is reminding everybody, please don't forget to like. Thank you. So she's a known. Wait, let me put it here. So she is, according to the person who sent me the identity of the person. Okay, to be fair, there were several people who sent me the identity of the person. So the identity contains the actual name, screenshots of the photo, the face of the person, and links to their social media profile. So what they were asking is for everybody to report the person to Big Hit. So several people sent me the same identity. But the thing is that because I can't verify if they were sending me the right information, I also don't know what to do with that information. I certainly don't want to get people in trouble, right? So, and if I'm not sure, I can't endorse it because I'm not sure. But these people said, I mean, in all fairness, these people that sent me the information of the person, they've been, they've been interacting with me for quite a while now, so they kind of I kind of trust them in that level, but still we're talking about someone's identity here, so I wanted to be careful. But yeah, so apparently there's like 2 to 3 people who have been following Jin just to heckle him, and that person is one of them. So yeah, so that's that. So if you want to send me the link to the Twitter post, let me know so I can post it here. How do people even find the time to in their life to do this sort of thing? I know, I was thinking about it when I got the identity of the person when it was sent to me on X. I was like, this is apex level waste your time, I have no job kind of person for you to follow somebody around just to mess with them. I'm like, I do probably jobless. That's the only thing I can think of. Because if you have something going in your life, would you want to follow someone you hate just so you can mess with them? I can't imagine. So yeah, I think it's next level, it's apex level joblessness. I don't know. I just posted the link on the K Army who made the correction on X. I posted on Patreon too. Okay, let me see so that everyone can see. I'll pull it. You posted it on X. Where is it? Did you post it on BTS? Which channel did you post it to? Okay, jobless and thoughtless. Carla girl, you posted what channel? Carla girl, what channel did you post it? Probably being paid by someone to harass Jin. Probably, I don't know. Um, but no matter how Carla girl, let me know what channel you post. I can't see. I don't see anything, any new posts, or you posted it. I just missed it, or something like that. So let me know which channel so I can look for it. Um, do you think people will expect Jin's concert to be like J Hope level? I don't think so. Carla girl, which I know I see you pasted on page, but what channel? What channel did you post it on? So I can look for it because there's a lot on things on Patreon. I have a question that is not related to the current topic, but it is so important. What would we do about BTS shadow ban on YouTube? Ruth Fisher, Patreon. Which channel on Patreon? Let me know which channel on Patreon so I can check. Okay. So another thing is I'll go back to your question about YouTube. So the other thing is that so they're making a huge deal about this last comment of Jin about Dynamite. So in one of his guestings, um, he said that that the only reason they decided to go for Dynamite was the other two songs that were given to them they didn't like. So this is the song they least hate, or sorry, that they liked of the three that they don't like. So um so now people are making a big deal out of it, like, oh, they sold out or something. That is the most common thing that I am reading on social media. Like, oh, this is proof that Ruth Fisher, what chat room? So is it under BTS town hall or whatever? I will check, but they will. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So so that is the main criticism that they are throwing on Jin right now because of what he said about Dynamite. So they are saying that, oh, this is proof that they actually sold out because even they didn't like the song that was given to them, but they decided to do it simply because they knew it was going to be popular, which we I don't think they knew that it was going to be that popular. They just decided to do it because um okay, here it is. Just because, as you know, at that time their concert, the tour, which was going to be a stadium tour, was canceled. And they wanted, and we were in the middle of the pandemic, and so they wanted to do something for armies because they wanted to comfort us. And by God, everyone knows we needed it at that time. So I know it feels like it was forever ago, but it was very recent. Everything was so depressing. So them not necessarily liking Dynamite isn't news for us, because we knew this is not a part of their arsenal. This is not the kind of music that they released. But also, the pandemic and COVID wasn't the kind of situation that we are used to having, and they really just wanted to do something. That's why they decided to release the song. It is not because they sold out or whatever. It was just because they wanted to do something for armies. So I hope that we don't forget that even if they initially didn't like Dynamite, the benefits it brought to armies and to their own country it was a good decision. It was the right decision for them to release the song because of all the things that happened afterward. Because the benefits were more than worth the effort that they made. It generated 7,928 jobs. One song, 7,928 jobs. And this was during the time companies were closing, people were being asked to stay home, people didn't have, they were losing their jobs left and right. And here is one song that brought in 7,928 jobs. I think it is more than, um, this is proof eternal that the song was meant to be, that even though this is not a part of their arsenal, it was a song that they were meant to sing, and that it was a song that they were meant to release, not only because it solidified their position in global charts, specifically in the US and Europe, but because of the benefits that it brought their country. Okay. So, and truth be told, of the three English songs that they released, this is actually my favorite. When Butter came out, I was like, it's good, but it's not as good as Dynamite. And I think it was really because it was perfect timing. It was during the time when people were still like in shock of the kind of situation that we were in. And they gave us this song. Okay, so let me just post this. Let me share it. So this is I haven't read it, but this is allegedly the allegedly this is according to Carla Girl, this is the translation. Okay. So I hope everyone sees it. So according to Ginia 1204, I am seeing one critical, oh wait, let me make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. So I am seeing one critical misinformation spreading in this fandom. It was one fan who loudly said to him, K concert tickets is expensive. And the response from the crowd was uniformly, no, it was not. We love you, not expensive at all. Many who attended there also confirmed it. He's deeply loved and respected. One bad apple with shameless self entitlement won't dictate the majority, and we won't let that happen. He does not owe us anything. All he does is working nonstop to keep us happy. His ticket prices are very moderately set both for Korea and overseas concerts, all because he has always been thoughtful towards us. And he has continuously fed us with happy content, including many free events, which he worked hard solely to please us. Don't forget, vote and stream for him, support Echo, and no more misinformation, please. So, uh, this is the fan. The ticket to your concert is so expensive. Then they all said it's expensive. Please reduce the prices. So apparently this is not correct. They People did not say this. So it was just one person who said this, according to this post. I wish there is a video. I hope someone actually took a video of that, because that's going to make things better, not just for us, but also for Jin, because right now, as for other fandoms, they think that everybody in that venue just agreed with this one person who said that the ticket is so expensive. So if someone has an actual video that would at least, have one voice of one person s- be heard, that they were telling Jin that it's not expensive at all, that would be better. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to Jin. It seems some like to hear everything is hearts and flowers, that the guys are deeply in love with every song and every experience. They want fantasy, not reality. um yeah, I mean, it's not totally alien. That's another point that I was going to make. It's not totally alien for it's not totally strange for a singer to not like a specific song in the beginning. There's been a lot of singers who were given a song and at first they didn't like it, and only for them to realize later on that they liked it. It's the same for us. Like, there are some movies that we will not like at first, and then later on we're kind of like, oh, that's a good movie actually. So it's not a strange thing. And I think they really are just trying to blow this out of proportion. It was him telling a story about something that happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like, come on, let's all move on. Like, I think at that point, the mere fact that they decided to do another English song is proof that they all felt, although belatedly, that releasing Dynamite was the right decision. That's why they released another English song. The other thing is that I think we can all agree that we all needed Dynamite and Butter and Permission to Dance. I think at that stage it was one of the few songs that was just giving us an opportunity to just escape the hellhole we were in during that time. So whenever somebody says that, just play Dynamite. No need to try and debate about this thing. Just play Dynamite. In the book, wasn't there a song that had to be written because they were all afraid to speak up about it, but Jimin spoke up and it was rewritten and they liked it after? Was that song Dynamite? No, I believe that was Fire. Was it Fire? So the story was, I want to say it was Fire or DNA or Idol. So they were going to release a song, and they were given, so it was Bang Shiok who wrote the song, and they were given the song, and when the seven of them heard it, they all went to Namjoon, to RM, and said that we can't, this is horrible. Like, we cannot sing this song because this is just horrible. And so DNA, so yeah, it was DNA. The melody and the intro were not good. And so RM didn't know how to say it because, come on, that's still their senior, and the hierarchy in South Korea. And so they didn't like the song. And during so RM had to be the, because he's the leader, he had to be the one to break it to Bang Shiuk. And so he told him, RM told Bang Shiuk that no, everyone just hated the song. And so at that time, I guess Banshu was kind of upset, and he saw Jimin, who was going to record the song that day, his part of the song, he was going to record it that day. And Bang Shiyuk asked him, he said, do you also not like DNA? And Jimin said, yes. Yes, I don't. He was affirming the negation. So, and was like, okay, go home. And he changed the song. So that was, okay. Um, okay. Yes, Namjoon did say that. There's this George Harrison. Okay, so the late George Harrison said he wrote a song in a day handled with care. It got him thousands of letters thanking him as fans found uplift. During rough times, things happen for a reason. Yes. RM did say that. I think it was because those three songs were so left field for them when compared to their other discography. It is, yeah. So it is we know that BTS likes depth in their songs. We know that. And so it wasn't surprising, and they said this before. I mean, right after the release of Dynamite, they all were vocal about the fact that they were shocked. They didn't know what to do at first, and someone actually said like they weren't sure whether they were going to do it. In fact, RM wanted to change the lyrics of the song. It's just that no matter what he does, he felt like the original. And that's another thing. That's another important caveat, is that they were given the choice to actually change and write the lyrics. It was their decision not to change it, but they had the choice. It wasn't like sing this song, that's it. No. They were given the choice on whether or not they want to change it, and they decided the song is better as is. So, okay. Um, all right. So, no, this was the first time Jimin spoke up and understood how RM feels when he has to speak up. Okay, so next, because I believe this tour of Jin is not the usual concert tour like J Hope's concert tour. I think he's going to do more interaction with armies. Um, let's just try and make sure that everyone, not just first and foremost for Jin to have a positive experience, right? But for all of us as well, like this is not, we paid our hard earned cash to be there, to be able to watch Jin in this tour, and this is in the middle of us trying to save for OT7 concerts. So I hope that we can participate in making an effort to make sure that the positive comments are heard, because we all want to walk away from that concert happy with 100% positive experience, right? So if somebody tries to do something, uh, please don't be violent or whatever. Don't commit anything that will put you in harm's way or anything. Don't do that. But if it is simple as someone saying something shitty, maybe we can just be louder in our positive comments, so that that's what everybody else will hear. But please don't do anything that will put you in harm's way, put other people in harm's way. Don't violate the law. Don't cause any kind, or don't even respond to aggression. If there's anybody who's physically aggressive, do not respond to it, because that's not going to be good for you. So let's just all work together so that this concert and other concerts will also be a positive experience. I think for this one, because he called it an EP tour, not necessarily a concert tour. For I think it's because he's going to do more interaction, because he doesn't have as many songs as AJ Hope. J Hope can do a 2 hour and a half concert because he has enough songs. But I think for Jin, he is most likely going to supplement it with some BTS songs, but he still will not have enough. He's not going to have 26, 28 songs to fill an entire 2 hour, 2 or 2.5 hour show. Okay. So if you can, please memorize Super Tuna. um, Whitney Houston did not like Love. Where Do Broken Hearts Go? It became a hit. I believe at some point Whitney Houston didn't like many of the songs that were given to her, but she sang them, and then later on, like, fell in love with the songs. Are all his tours sold out? There are still very, very few tickets. I think for New Jersey, for example, there's like 4 tickets left. So if ever those 4 tickets don't get sold several, maybe 2 weeks before, I'll do the same thing I did before, which is to raise funds to try and buy the tickets and just give them to armies that are down on their luck. But I believe it's going to get booked. There's just 4. So it's like, okay, they will, so as I think, as he tries to interact with armies more, I think they're gonna go and after him. They're gonna go after him. I think they will try to frame this in a bad way. God forbid he coughs. I think they will, mean the haters will call the entire tour a scam. And the thing is, let's always remember, he called this an EP tour, right? So I think it's specifically pertaining um to Echo. So most likely he was really framing it to be a tour, a mini tour of some sort. It's not really a concert tour like what J Hope did. But they will continue to look for something to go after him because they know that this is a warm up to the reunion of BTS. Celine Dion didn't want to sign the Titanic song. It was a perfect song for Celine Dion. So yeah, can we just all make a point to make sure that we enjoy the tour and that we let the positive voices be heard? Let's also be there for Jin as a human being first, and then as an artist second. So if someone is trying to mess up the day, just try to yell and scream louder so that it's the positive voices that will be heard. If you can, um, please make sure that you memorize Super Tuna. That's the one song that we can all dance from beginning to end. So let's promise each other that we're all going to be dancing to Super Tuna all together. Okay. And it's been so long since Dynamite came out, all the members might have individual feelings about it. Yeah, I mean, based on J Hope in the was it behind the scenes when he was thinking about doing Lollapalooza, when he was putting together Lollapalooza, it was very clear when he said that Dynamite is an important song for BTS. So at first he wasn't sure whether he would include Dynamite or not. And he said that I can't sing it. I mean, he said that he cannot sing the other parts. He will only be able to sing his part. And then at some point he was like, I should be singing this with BTS and whatever. And he was like, but even if I sing it, I can only sing my parts. He can't sing the parts of the vocal line. And then later on he decided, okay, he was going, because it was an important song for BTS. He said specifically that it's an important song for BTS. He wanted to perform it, but he decided that he was just going to do his part and then dance for armies. So even during the concert in Lollapalooza, he said, okay, Army, you sing, I'll dance for you. So I think at this stage, we can sort of conclude that Dynamite means a lot now for BTS than it did when they first heard the song. It's now at a different, uh, it means something more in their career, I think. Okay, I think he will use technology to interact with the audience. I'm game for that. If there's any kind of like um, QR code that we need to download, app that we need to download, I'm good with that. JK performed Dynamite at the 2023 Global Citizen Festival. Yeah, I think it's an important song for everybody. It was really monumental. I mean, that really, I feel before Dynamite, they already went to number 4 of Billboard Hot 100, right? And it was also a solo song, meaning not a solo song like one person, but also no collaboration. So I think it was just a matter of time for them to get to number 1. So who knows, maybe their next single would still have been number 1. Would it have stayed that long on top of Billboard Hot 100? Probably not, but they would have gotten to number 1. It's just that it became that song because of the pandemic. So it definitely means something. If at all, it should be a sacred song for for armies as well, right? Because a lot of people really discovered BTS because of Dynamite. Okay, Jin did say he wants to hear so many armies cheers in his concert tour, so please sing along for him and cheer loudly. Was Dynamite the song that RM was playing on the saxophone? Yes, I think it was Dynamite. On got to number 4. Yes, it was on. So they were already at number 4 before Dynamite. Okay. So let's just make that commitment to make the tour, Jin's tour, an enjoyable experience for everybody. If you look at the whole statement, he said during that program, he said it was like a miracle, basically, that Dynamite uh, did so well, like God was looking after them. People missed his point. Yeah, he said, I have it here. Where is it? He said something like, oh, not that. So he said something like, here. Um, can you see it? Let me make it bigger. Something like gods were looking down on us, something like that. Dynamite was the first one. Yeah, he said something like gods were looking. after us. Exactly. So we went ahead and recorded it, and that made it big. I guess some other gods looked out for us. That's what he said. Some other gods, like some god looked for looked out for us. Someone was taking care of them, something like that. So I think at this stage, what where it started and how the song started, it isn't the same as where it is now. I think, as I've said, with the way J Hope regarded the song, decided to include it. It is in his repertoire, and even in Hope on the Street, right? It was still there, and Jungkook singing it. I think it's an important part of their discography. Um, and also, I think it would have been a different story had BTS been a group that doesn't release anything but songs like Dynamite, right? If that is all the type of song that they release, I think it would have been a different story. But this is such a different song. Like, it is not a part of their arsenal, their usual arsenal, because they're more into depth and meaning and complex concepts and all. So I think having three songs that are just light, I think that's okay. I wouldn't consider Permission to Dance exactly super light. So probably Butter and Dynamite. Having a song that is light and just easy on the ear and just something that you can enjoy without having to think of it, that's okay. It is part of an artist becoming more prolific. Okay. I can't stand how people outside of fandom try to add their own input, like trying to prove something about their English songs. No, I've never been bothered about their English songs because they've released Japanese songs before. So, uh, singing in another language, that's not entirely an odd thing for them to do. They've released an entire Japanese album. So, yeah, I'm not bothered by it. So if somebody says that, it's like, they've released Japanese songs before. I think it's more important, if at all, it is more important that they didn't have a collaborator in that song. In Butter and in Dynamite, they didn't have a collaborator. So that's really them. You can't credit it to anybody else. It was them and them alone that did that. So I think that's a more important measure. So, um, Dynamite stopped my 2-year-old grandniece from crying every time. Oh, I hope he sings tonight. I love that song. Um, okay, so yeah, that's and also I think at this day and age, let's stop this. I hope we can contribute into stopping this divide. Like, there is this, we're trying, isn't that the entire point of BTS? Like, let's stop the divide. Let's be a little bit more accommodating of other culture, of other language. So they sing in Korean, they sing in Japanese, they sing in Chinese, they sing it. They're trying to just bring people together. That shouldn't be an issue anymore. Maybe 20 years ago it wasn't, not anymore, right? We're trying to come together as one. So it's, forget the divide. Okay. My 3-year-old granddaughter is obsessed with watching Ronjin. I'm trying to catch up. I thought I was gonna finish over the weekend, but I couldn't. Okay. Let us go to the okay, let's go to the revenue report of SM, HYBE, YG, and JYP Entertainment. I actually already reported on HYBE and SM. So finally, the revenue report for Q1 of 2025 of JYP and YG were released. But as usual, YG is the most vague when it comes to their revenue report. They really didn't provide anything except a press release containing the numbers. So take it with a grain of salt when it comes to YG Entertainment. Okay, so but let's go to JYP first because they were the ones who released something more detailed. Okay, so this is taken exactly. This was taken from their website. Okay, so I didn't pull this out of nowhere. Let's just section by section so that it is a little bit clearer. So they're okay, maybe not that because that's too small. Let's go to the summary so that you can see the summary of all the side by side of the four companies. There you go. So this is in US dollars. Okay, I converted everything into US dollars. So in terms of gross revenue, JYP is at 71 point M, and apparently YG is also at 71 point M million. This is gross revenue. So everything, no deductions yet, just everything. And then, but the operating profit is is drastically different. So for JYP, their operating profit is 14.1 million, and the operating profit of YG is 4.8 million. Okay, so this is the thing again. Their net profit is higher. The net profit of JYP and the net profit of YG are actually higher than their operating profit. Okay. So for JYP, their operating profit is 4.1 and 4.8 for YG. So way less than the operating profit of JYP. But their net profit are higher. So 49.9 for JYP and 7.3 for YG. All right. The reason is not because of the earnings of their current talent pool. It is because they sold their shares of Dear You. So JYP sold their shares of Dear You and they sold it to SM Entertainment. This is where it gets interesting. Okay. So as you know, SM Entertainment declared that the income of Dear You should be in their books when they bought Dear You, because they bought a huge chunk of the sales of JYP to Dear You. They bought it, and then they credited the income to theirs on their books. I did not know that you can actually do it, but they did that. Now, JYP, the reason their operating profit, net profit is actually higher is because they accounted for the sale of the Dear You, the shares of Dear You. So their shares went to SM Entertainment. Okay. KAG, yes, I did. So for and then for YG, 7.3 million. The reason is they also sold some shares. So YG is really big on letting go of a lot of businesses. They really are. That's the only reason they have been surviving is by selling the businesses that they have. So this is not because of the income from the tour of Baby Monster. It's because they sold some shares. That's why their net profit is higher than their operating profit. Okay. So, okay, just for comparison, let's go back to the summary. So, just for comparison, the in terms of gross income, HYBE is of course the highest at 48.4 million, 300, sorry, 348.4 million US dollars. SM has $166 million, and then JYP 71.9, same with YG. In terms of operating profit, HYBE's operating profit is actually lower at 15 million. SM is higher, has a higher operating profit at 22.5 million, and then 14.1 for JYP and YG 4.8. But in terms of net profit, the highest is still SM at 167.4, but only because they consider the income of Dear You in their books. So they merged the income, the books of Dear You, they merged it with theirs. So they ended up with a higher net profit. And then HYBE is at 39 million. And then for JYP, 49.9 million and 7.3 for YG. The other thing is that for Q1 of 2024, the net profit of YG was only $300,000. So this is a huge jump for YG. Okay, so let's look at what made JYP a lot of money. Good night, Jelma. Okay, so one is the concerts. Okay, so they didn't have in terms of tours, they didn't have a lot of artists that are touring. So they highly relied on physical sales of the albums and streaming. Okay. So not a lot of concerts because the tour of Stray Kids is just about to start. And the tour, they haven't announced the tour of Twice, although they said that they will have a tour. Okay, so they earned a lot from brand endorsements. So the appearance is 8.8 billion for brand endorsements. Okay. Now for so here it is. They disclosed that the net profit is primarily from DRU. The sales of their DRU shares led to increase in share of profit of associates and JYP. So that's where they disclosed it. Okay. Now for physicals, this is the biggest ones that they had. Kickflip released something on Q1. Itzy Yeji, her solo album, and Mix released a solo album. Extraordinary Heroes released a mini album. Nitsu, and then Next Z. They have so many groups. I did not even realize that they have Next Z. I did not know what they were. I forgot about Kickflip because after the initial released, it's like they forgot about them. So, but anyway, they said that in Q2, ITZY is going to release a mini album. So June 9. Okay, is when it's gonna happen. And then these are the concerts that are lined up. Good night, Kathleen. These are the concerts that are lined up. For Q2, Day 6 will tour. Stray Kids will, of course, start their tour. They still have some tickets left just in case you guys want to buy. And then Extraordinary Heroes next Z. And then Stray Kids tour will go all the way until the end of the year. Okay, so if you have time, please watch their show. All right. And then these are the contract renewals. So in 2025, they said that Stray Kids will actually or already renew their contract. So I can confirm this because they did a release on this. Stray Kids already said that they renewed their contract already. So they will stay with JYP as a group. And then they debuted in 2024. They debuted Vicha. We know what happened to Vicha. They still are in the middle of a lawsuit. And then 2 p.m., they also renewed the contract of the members as a group. So the members are still signed, the entirety of 2 p.m. still signed under JYP as a group, but their individual careers are being handled by other agencies. The last one that left is what's his name? Juno. So Juno is the last member of 2 p.m. that left. I don't know if he's already signed with another agency, but he's actually made 2 p.m. bias. So I was actually updated on that. Okay. So this is the summary of the income. Now, this is, I'm sure that you're going to ask about YG. They just released a press release. So that's how I got their numbers. They just, I got it from Reuters. So that they stated there here, they explained where the income came from and what they are going to anticipate in the coming years. So I think I have a recording of the rest here. So this is Billboard actually released an article containing the different incomes of different music labels that are operating globally, and one of that is YG. They also included HYBE, iHeartMedia, JYP. Was the other one Salem, Live Nation, Universal Music. So if you ever get to the article of Billboard, take a look at it if you want to see the revenue report of other companies. Okay, Juno is setting up his own agency, if I remember right. Oh wow, okay, good for him. I mean, he's an accomplished actor, so I won't be surprised if he's going to set up his own agency. Okay. Do I have time? Oh yeah, I still have time. All right. So they have questions about their income, the revenue report. I saw Jimin drawing of Closer Than This song. It's still there in the mirror. It's still there, yeah. The last time that we saw the practice studio, it's still there. And there are some talks about because so apparently New Jeans had wanted, well, they got their own rehearsal studio as well. So like BTS had their own rehearsal studio, they had their own rehearsal studio, they had their own makeup area, so that no one else was using except them. So that was freed up and allegedly was given to another group. So, um, but the 16th floor is vacant. So, but it might be used. So they did not change the order of, this is just all rumors. I don't know if it is true, but they didn't change. Allegedly, BTS did not, Big Hit didn't want to move. I guess it's so much of a bother for them to move to another floor, so they stayed in 15th, and Adore is going to stay on the 16th floor. So once they have their own group, because they are doing an audition, they will still stay on the 16th floor. So those are just rumors. I don't know if that is true. Daniel seems to have a Daniel seems to have a collab hinted at. I really hope they learn to put mods in the chat when the guys go live. I hope so. Yes, the gym and drawing has been seen in several members' content during enlistment. I imagine it will remain until they return. Right. I think it will return to, let me give me 1 second. The NJ member, Daniel, maybe. Whoever is collaborating with her has to be careful. It probably went through a door, unless they want to get sued. Okay. I'm good with that as long as those brats don't ever step foot in. Yeah, so that, I don't know if that is true. Again, those are rumors that there were, that like BTS was actually asked, or Big Hit was asked whether they want to move up, and they passed. They were like, nope, we're happy where we are. So, but the room that was the makeup room and area and stuff, whatever, it was given to another group already. So, okay. 16th floor probably won't be touched until New Jeans is officially not part of HYBE, so that New Jeans lawyer won't try to use it as a legal argument, probably. I want to actually endorse watching this. This, if you have Netflix, it's such an interesting case. So this girl poisoned her. This is a documentary of two girls. Well, her, because she allegedly, I don't know if I should say it allegedly. So the story is, the name of this girl is Jessica, and she has a friend. Her name is Mirna. They're both from Indonesia, but they became friends when they both went to Australia. And this girl, Jessica, poisoned her friend Mirna. She invited her friend Jessica to a coffee shop, put poison, and then she died on the spot. So I just want to endorse it. Now she denied it, and to this day she is denying her any involvement in what happened. So she maintains her innocence. But the reason I really like the story is the way the media was able to influence the entire thing. So she was convicted, and she was sentenced to 20 years in prison, or 20 or 22 years in prison. But she was able to go, so she, at 12 years, she was actually set free. So that was the story, that she invited her friend. This is her friend. So this is Mirna, and that's her husband. So she invited, uh, Jessica invited Mirna. This is Mirna, to coffee in Australia. So they're both Indonesian. They, I guess, went to to Australia to study, and then eventually to work. So they became friends, and then lost track. She got married. Mirna got married, and then when they both went to Australia for a vacation, Jessica invited. So this girl invited Mirna for coffee, and then she put poison in her coffee in the coffee shop. And so after one sip, she started convulsing, and then she died on the spot. So she maintains her innocence to this day. And when she was tried in Indonesia, she was sued. She was convicted of murder, but she maintains her innocence. Now, the thing that was interesting is that Number one, after all those hullabaloo, right? So she went to prison, and the Netflix decided to do a documentary. And according to the investigation of Netflix, the one error they did, or they committed, is that when they did the autopsy, they didn't open the brain. They only opened a certain part because you need to get consent from the family, and the family only consented to opening the heart or something, but they did not consent to opening the brain. And so, what the experts were saying is that if you're not able to do a complete autopsy, you won't be able to know exactly what caused the death, because it could have been aneurysm, it could have been heart attack, or whatever. So, so they asked the lawyer asked for a judicial review, which they granted her. I don't know if the decision came out, but essentially, they're saying if you're not able to do a comprehensive investigation, then you cannot convict her of murder. Now, the question is, why did she do that? So their motive, right? So one of the experts in Indonesia said the motive shouldn't matter because it's not in the penal code. In the penal code, it is not required that you find the motive. But anyway, they're saying that Jessica is she envies her lifestyle. She envies Myrna because Myrna, I guess we all have different standards of beauty, right? So Myrna is pretty. She has a career, a very stable career, and she's married. She actually has one kid. So she's jealous of what she has. So at some point, Jessica told Myrna to break up with the guy. I guess, as any other friend, you would usually confide if you're fighting with your boyfriend or whatever. And so Jessica was telling her break up with him or whatever. And then, but Myrna didn't follow her advice. And at some point, this guy, the husband of Myrna, actually got a restraining order against Jessica. And in the restraining order, he actually said that I fear for my life, like I think she's going to harm me. And then during the initial trial, they got like character witnesses, including the former boss of Jessica. And Jessica and the boss testified that she has bipolar personality, or at least she's like, you're dealing with two people. She had drinking problems. She was suicidal at some point or something like that. And so all those were taken into consideration. And so she was convicted. The problem is that they couldn't tell, they did not have in the cafe, because it's a public cafe where she did the crime. In the public cafe, Jessica was shown surveying the area in the of the public of the cafe. And they said that look at her looking at the camera as if she was looking for a space where it will not, like, there is no CCTV, which she denied. She said, no, I was just looking for a nice place, a nice spot for us um to to get together, to sit down and talk. And then she was in the place, in the area, very very early, and then went out to buy stuff. So she had three paper bags, and wait, okay, so she had three paper bags with her when she went back into the venue, into the cafe. And she sat and she chose this location where there is no CCTV at the back. There's only one CCTV in front, but there is a plant or something that gets in the way of the view. And then she, according to the investigator, she strategically placed the three paper bags that she had with her, so that it's blocking the CCTV. So which she all denied. She denied it. She said, no, I was just like, I was impatient, I was waiting for them, I did not know they were going to be late, so I was like looking for something to do, and I was placing and replacing and whatever. She also ordered the drink way ahead, so very very much in advance, which she said she did because she did not know they were going to be late. Okay. Who? Okay, so that was who was asking. Yeah, who poisoned who, where, and when? So this girl is the one who poisoned her friend. This girl is Jessica, and she poisoned Mirna. This one. They are both Indonesian. They met in Australia, and that's where they became friends. And allegedly, she poisoned Jessica, this girl, poisoned Mirna because of jealousy, because she's pretty, she had a career, a solid career, she had a guy, and a kid. And also, Mirna did not invite Jessica to her wedding. So when the reporter asked Jessica, where did you feel bad about her not inviting you? She said it was like, I'm in Australia. I wouldn't be able to attend the wedding anyway. And the reporter said, but that's not a choice she gave you because she simply did not invite you. And she was like, oh, I don't remember if she invited me or not. So that's the story. Did I identify the poison? Yes, they did. Arsenic, something like that. And so when they tested the coffee, it had 2.7. I hope I'm using the measurements right, but I think it had like 2.7 milligram or 3.2 milligram of poison. But only zero point zero 0.07 was found in her body, which they said is not enough to kill her. So so that is scary. You just never know who you're going to be interacting with. The girl Jessica poisoned her friend Mirna out of jealousy. Yeah. So now, so she was convicted and in Indonesia there is no jury. So it's only the judge. There are three judges um that will decide your fate on whether you're not guilty or not. So this is all in Netflix, but it's just the most interesting part for me is how the initial coverage of the media was picking and choosing and framing the entire situation. I don't know if she's guilty or not, just to make sure. I'm not saying that she's not guilty. Isn't that rat poison? It is rat poison. So I don't know this case. Like I'm not invested in either of them. Uh but what's interesting for me is how the media coverage favored or did not favor her, right? It seems like regardless on whether she did it or not, those information that were hidden in the beginning should still have been published, and they weren't. The information I was talking about was the fact that there was only a small amount of poison found in her body. That's one. Second, that they were saying that Jessica didn't even cry during the when she was convicted, and the lawyer said she did cry, she just didn't do it in front of the public. um since they were at the cafe and she did not prepare the drink, how did they prove her friend poisoned her? So she it was all circumstantial. The proof were all Nobody saw her putting poison in the coffee. No one saw her because she was able that according to prosecution, no one saw it because she was able to block the view of the CCTV camera. So some of the circumstantial evidence, pieces of evidence that they used is that one, the morning they were going to meet, Jessica kept on asking Mirna if she wants to order the drink in advance. So that's one circumstantial evidence. Another circumstantial evidence is that she went into the cafe and looked like she was surveying the place before, and then choosing where to sit and strategically choosing the place that had least coverage, that will be least seen by the CCTV camera. And then third is that it was right after she took one sip. So she ordered the drink way in advance, which she said just happened because they were late. She ordered the drink way ahead. So like 14 minutes before they arrived, her friends arrived. And this, as soon as she took a sip, Mirna took a sip, she convulsed and she died on the spot. I heard the case on Rotten Mango. Yeah. It was Good night, Evie. Yeah, it's interesting. So I think it was just it's a lesson. Of course, I hope that whoever did it will be, if it was her, then I hope she goes to continue to go to jail. If it's not her, I hope that they catch the perpetrator. Um, or that if it was just an accident, then I hope that also is proven. But what's interesting is how the media sort of framed her as a suspect. Like, as I've said, they were choosing the information they were going to release. They did not say that there was only zero point zero 0.07 milligrams of arsenic, or arsenic, is, am I pronouncing it correctly, in her body. They did not say that it could, they did not do a complete autopsy, even though it was requested by the police, but because the family denied it, they weren't able to do a complete autopsy. And I guess in the US, had it been that way, then they won't be able, you can't, like in the US, if you didn't do a comprehensive autopsy, then you won't be able to make a conclusion. But there, because there is no jury, it was just three judges making a decision as to what is going to happen to you. Cyanide smells like bitter almond, not arsenic. Oh, cyanide. I think it was cyanide. Sorry, it was cyanide. So yeah, so they said it smelled sweet. That's another thing. It smelled sweet. At some point, they said that the police officer, was it the police officer, who was like in the hearing, it was kind of funny because during the hearing, so they had an expert, right? And so the judges were asking like, um a cyanide was so dangerous that even if you don't induce it and you just smell it, it can actually kill you. That's what they were saying. That you just need to smell it and that can kill you. So the judge was like, so if you have cyanide here and you open the bottle, it can actually kill everybody else. And so the expert said yes. So the judge asked, can we test it? And then the expert said, I don't recommend it. It's way too dangerous to test it. But apparently, a police officer actually tested it. She opened the bottle. The police officer, he opened the bottle, smelled it, and nothing happened. He didn't die. So they were like, "Oh, this is so." There were so many inconsistencies with the case. So it's interesting. It's interesting because of how the case was handled. Like, also, you have to remember this is Indonesia. It's not in the US, right? But in the US, like as I've said, if you do an autopsy and you're only doing an autopsy in one part of the body of the person, then most likely that's not going to be accepted. So, um, but it's a different case, I guess, in Indonesia. So try to check it out. It's in Netflix. Coffee Killer is the title. Thank you. Good night, Han. Thanks. It still hurts, and I found myself trying to control my daughter's friendship. I had to stop myself. Um. Ooh, what was that? KAG. Sorry, I did not follow your story. Okay, so do you have questions on the case? Good night. Do you have questions on the case before we move on to the last topic? Okay. I'll Before we move on, any questions? Bellatrix, that's terrible. It seems she was involved with the cartels. So, who's involved with the cartels? Oh my God. This case was covered in 60 Minutes Australia. The piece is available on YouTube. Yeah, so there is on YouTube, there is 60 Minutes Australia, which had it, they interviewed her, and then there is another one and then the documentary is actually on Netflix. So and then there's also okay, so another thing that you should watch would be on Amazon Prime. Try to watch, if you can, K-pop, King of K-pop, Lee Suman, which is the founder of SM Entertainment. So there is a documentary about him, how he started. Basically, that he was the one who started and set up K-pop, the system, the training system, and all of that. the way the companies are set up, so different from from America. It was all his doing. So if you have the time, also please watch that. MLB said we'll have to add coffee killer to your yes. It's so good. It's very, very interesting. Um, why did she meet with her if the husband was afraid of Jessica? There were three of them. There were three of them. Yeah, that's a good question actually. Why would she bother meeting with her? That's a good question. But there were three of them. It wasn't just her, and it wasn't just Myrna and Jessica. There was a third person. They also said that the way she reacted to Myrna dying in front of her was that way she was way too like relaxed. She was way too chill about it. She was just like standing there and looking at her because she fell on the floor. She was shaking and all. And she was just standing there looking at her. And then she just like asked the waiter, what did you put in her coffee? Like they found that suspicious because they were like, why was your first instinct to actually talk about, like ask us about the coffee? Why could it be something else? Um, so you must have put something in there to try and frame us. This is why we should make our own coffee. If the case happened in Australia, why did the child was moved to Indonesia? Because they were all both Indonesian. They were both Indonesians. I think the thing yeah. I think the did it happen in Indonesia? Yeah, I think it happened in Indonesia, not in Australia. But they met in Australia. The two friends met in Australia. But the event actually happened in Indonesia. It happened in a coffee shop in Indonesia. Okay, AG's not leaving. She's just saying goodbye. Don't trust a drink you didn't order yourself or be seen be made. I have stopped drinking in a restaurant, like drinks a long time ago because of all these things. Like I don't know. I won't drink anything unless it's prepared by someone I really trust or if I prepared it myself. You don't like coffee, tea, or drink. Everyone should watch Gin on the Tonight Show on Wednesday night. Oh yes, please watch my review of Gin. Oh, this is a funny story. So I was preparing my review for Echo, which I will be publishing in a couple of hours, in several hours, not couple, but in several hours. And there was something in the album that I couldn't decode. I was having a hard time about it. So I decided to take a nap, and the next thing I know, I was meeting Suga in Costco. And apparently he was like he called me because he wanted to discuss the album of Jin. So I met him in Costco. It was so weird. It was so weird. The minute I woke up, I posted it on Patreon because it was just so weird that we were meeting in the entire thing was weird. Like I was thinking about the album, and then Suga was meeting me in Costco to talk about the album. So okay. Jessica was vacationing in Indonesia. Okay, so there. Yeah, so I'm right. It happened in Indonesia. But they both met in Australia. Poison is popular with women, not much with men. Good night, Iris. Lucky girl. Just order a beer or a soda, not and only if the bottle is open in front of you. Correct. Or you open it yourself. Correct. Okay, just a quick thing because these are some of the viral marketing tactics that reverse viral marketing tactics that the other companies are most likely going to be using against BTS once they make a comeback. So remember that Bang Shiyuk is actually suing Kakao Entertainment because of reverse viral marketing. Essentially, they manipulated the stock prices of SM Entertainment when they were battling when HYBE was going against Kakao Entertainment to buy the majority share of SM Entertainment. When HYBE was battling Kakao to buy majority share of SM Entertainment, and based on the tactics that Kakao Entertainment used against HYBE, this is most likely what they're going to be doing when BTS returns. So it's not to spread fear or whatever. It's actually more so that we can be prepared on what we are going to do when BTS comes back. Have you noticed how many groups this it's actually part of what I was going to say. One of the givens, and this is one of the frustrations of many PR companies in South Korea, is that there are just absolutely nothing they can do that will affect international army support for BTS, because the and this is interesting because the value system of South Korea is just so different from the value system of the US, that what they feel is scandalous is not scandalous for us. Like if in South Korea, when somebody has a girlfriend, if an idol is going out on a date or whatever, that's a big thing for them. In the US, yeah, there are some girls that would probably be bothered by it, but for the most part, it's like, of course, they're gonna date. Like that is not, that's a given. They are young men, successful, good looking. Of course, they're gonna date. So it's not a big deal for us. Um, I mean, as we know, drunk driving is, I mean, whatever. So there's, it's a huge source of frustration for many of PR companies in many countries, that this like cow are tapping is tapping to go against BTS, because there's essentially nothing that they can do, very few things that they can do that would bother us, right? So, given that, one of the strategies that they will be using is to destroy everyone else. And they've actually, this is the main strategy that Min Hee Jin used to go against HYBE, to try and destroy other groups that that Jessica said, Fairlane, I found the full video of the exchange with Jin. I put it in the comments of the announcement of this live. Okay. After this, I'll show it. So this is the main, thank you, Jessica. This is the main information. This is the main strategy that Min Hee Jin did, because they couldn't touch BTS. She decided to go after the groups of HYBE Entertainment, of HYBE. And that included Les Seraphim, I'll It, So this is most likely what they're also going to be doing. If they cannot touch BTS, they'll go against everything else that BTS has a hand on. And because BTS members are majority, well, they are one of the biggest shareholders of HYBE Entertainment, of HYBE, whatever happens to the groups under HYBE happens to BTS, right? That is a company that they put up. That came from their blood, sweat, and tears. If they can destroy HYBE, then they're one step closer to destroying BTS. So there's a lot more scandals that will come out going after the groups that are under HYBE. So just be ready for it. I think the best thing to do is to just not always remember that these groups are not the same as BTS. So BTS has nothing to do with them except the investment part. So if they get into scandal, so what? It has no bearing on BTS. So if they're spreading rumors against these groups, just chill. Support their songs, of course, but you don't have to defend them in behalf. You don't have to defend them to defend BTS. Just support their songs. They will, and this is already starting. They will blame HYBE for not fighting for group members, for members who left their groups, and that includes Kim Garam. So for those of you who don't know, Kim Garam is supposed to be the sixth member of Les Seraphim, but 10 days, or maybe, yeah, I think 10 days into their debut, they released a scandal against her, saying that she bullied somebody. It was eventually proven to be wrong, but they insisted that a lot of people were bullying her, until, so for about 3 months, HYBE and Source Music tried to fight for her, but it was just getting too much for the group, that they had to let her go. And I think it was also for her, because for as long as they maintain her, to keep her in the company, then they won't stop attacking her and her family. So they had to let her go. But now they're starting to blame HYBE for her, for Yunso, which is the sixth member of ILIT, supposedly the sixth member of ILIT. Now that Kim Garam actually opened her own Instagram, they will most likely, now they're showing support they are now supporting her, saying that Hybe did her dirty or whatever, when in fact it was them bullying her in the beginning. So that's one thing that they will do. They are going to, this is something new that they will try. They're going to put a lot of negative reviews in their albums, anything that they do, albums, concert, or whatever. And this time, instead of fangirls or crazy social media followers, they are actually going to plant professional reviewers and professional journalists to leave negative reviews, to pull the quality, to make it appear as if the quality of the songs and the albums that they're putting out aren't as good as it was, and they're going to use that to say that BTS is just trying to fulfill their contract, but they can't wait to go solo again. So this time, many of these reviewers will actually be professional reviewers. So be ready for that as well. So don't forget to leave good reviews on their albums and different on Target, Walmart, or whatever, to overpower their review. So yellow journalism against BTS, yes, yes. That is just vile. They're going to be using Scooter Braun. So they're going to use all like misogynist, Zionist, all kind of ist. They're going to just throw it on the table. Um, Especially because of what's happening with Justin Bieber. They're going to use it against BTS. Any name, anybody, any staff that is remotely connected to anything that is that Twitter seems deems to be scandalous, they will use against BTS. So now that Scooter Braun is in the middle of this legal battle or whatever kind of thing he has going with Justin Bieber, they're going to use that against BTS. So my suggestion is to always keep it professional. Uh, they will use this as a moral attack because, as you know, a lot of people don't like that he's a Zionist, that he's Jewish, whatever, and they want BTS to support the same moral standards, to uphold the same moral standards that they have for themselves. So my suggestion would be to just keep it professional. He is this just Scooter Braun is the CEO of HYBE America. He's good at what he does. If he isn't good at what he does, then he won't be able to promote a lot of young stars to become superstars. So there is no reason, he is no better or no worse than any other Hollywood executive. If it wasn't Scooter Braun, it would have been somebody else. So why not work with somebody who has a better feel of what the young people actually want? But keep it professional. Don't get into any kind of moral talk, any kind of political talk, any kind of social talk. We're just here for the music. We're not here for Scooter Braun. We're here for BTS. Okay, but they will use that for sure. Especially because a lot of people are actually siding. They believe what Brett Cooper believes, and that is the pastor is the only person that's sort of caring, that's sincerely caring um for Justin Bieber. So she believes that now there is this one person that is the pastor caring for Justin Bieber. Everyone else is against Justin Bieber, and that includes Scooter Braun. They are already attacking Jin, saying he likes younger women because he stood close to Yena, but no Wendy. These people have no life, huh? That is weird. But I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them that they're actually doing that. Okay. There's one more. Okay. So everyone, so this is what I mentioned, that I was actually going to mention it. Everyone and their dog will actually be releasing something in June. They are making a comeback in June, and we all know why. And they are going to mention BTS in all their press distribution for sure. So when Blackpink does their tour, when aespa and Hypen, ITZY, Le Seraphim, everyone, BTS will always be mentioned. BTS will always be compared against them. They will say BTS didn't do this, BTS didn't do that. This group is better than BTS. BTS is like this and like that. So be prepared that their name, that BTS's name will always be dragged And my suggestion is do not give them any kind of engagement, because that's what they want. They want engagement. And if you give it to them, they'll keep on doing it. So the only thing that you can do is to not give them engagement. So when they start mentioning that, they already are starting with Dynamite and Apathy. So remember, different level, right? And I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again, that in terms of numbers, of course, the records of BTS will be surpassed. It doesn't mean that the impact will be surpassed. So that's why I'm saying let's not deal too much with the numbers, because that's meant to be, all records are going to be broken. uh, Beatles records, Michael Jackson records, they've all been, many of them have already been surpassed by someone. It doesn't mean that the impact is any less. It just means that in terms of the numbers, it's changing, but the impact does not change. So concentrate always on the impact and ignore the numbers. And then the last thing that we have to be careful of is her. So remember, her goal has always been to destroy BTS. And she has something up her sleeve, because we have all proven that whenever a new release happens, whenever BTS members are doing any kind of release, she's always coming out with something. So when BTS returns, that's she's preparing something. So just be very, very careful about it. Yeah, so I guess when it comes to Apathy and Dynamite, don't don't this is just me. I don't dance around the fact that Apathy will probably, it's fairly obvious, like on right around the second month, it was fairly obvious to me that they want that record of Dynamite, and eventually of Jimin, when Jimin surpassed Dynamite. I think they definitely want Apathy to be hold the longest record, the longest charting, to become the longest charting K-pop song. That's why I was saying when Who had its run, I kept on insisting we need to keep it on the chart, because that's what they are after. Okay. So so I don't so it's happening. They're after the record, so it's happening. I think avoiding talking about it is just going to make people even more eager to talk about it, right? So eventually they're going to get to the 35th week inside Billboard Hot 100, and they are going to celebrate. They're going to say it's a bigger hit and whatever. I don't. I feel like if you dance around it, they're just going to use it against us. So for me, I'm like, okay. So it did that. It does not. It does not match the impact of Dynamite. No matter what they do, it's not going to match the impact of Dynamite. That's one. Second is the record for the solo song is still with a member of BTS, and that is Jimin. So while you can say, a lot of people will most likely claim that the success of Apathy is because of Bruno Mars, you can say the same about Dynamite and um, Who. So it's fine. Let's like let them celebrate. She no matter what you say, whether it's a collaboration or whatnot, she worked hard for it. She worked hard for it. It's a good song. So I mean, if it isn't, just think about it this way. Other artists have collaborated with other artists, like other K-pop artists have collaborated with as big of a name as Bruno Mars, and they didn't achieve that kind of longevity in the chart. So it means that there is something about the song that's sticking. So it could be because of payola, whatever, but at the end of the day, they're going to break the record. So let them celebrate. For as long as you yourself and armies are also confident about the fact that even if they match the numbers, they will not match the impact. That's okay. Let them celebrate. Let's do it. Let them have it. Um, well, Dynamite didn't have a foreign collab. Dynamite didn't have a foreign collab, and BTS does not have a foreign. Who does not have a foreign collab? So remember that the top two longest charting songs, they're both BTS. One is BTS and another is a BTS member, right? And both don't have a foreign collaborator. So as I've said, so no matter what they say about that record, they can take away the fact that Dynamite and Who don't have a collaborator. Second is they can never match the impact. So that is fine. Is it true that BP fans are worried about the group after their tour? Probably. I personally think that this is the probably the last tour they're going to have as a group. I think the girls are going to go off on their solo careers after and fully concentrate on that. So yeah, probably this is the last tour that they're going to have. That's also my gut. I think they just want to, in the last tour they didn't do Wembley, so I think they wanted to do that. So somehow sort of this is their last chance basically, right? And this could have been the perfect timing because BTS is going to make a comeback, so the attention, the international attention will be back to K-pop. So yeah, Apathy is a viral song whether we like it or not, but it is mostly because of Payola. Probably because of Payola. I mean, still a catchy song if you ask me. I do not think it is the best song in her album, but it is a catchy song. And definitely having a huge label really helped because look at the playlisting, my God. And the radio spins, it's still there. So if any of the songs of BTS just got half of the radio spins that song is getting, I mean, that's the biggest edge of Apathy's, the radio spins. If any of the songs of BTS got half of the radio spins that she's getting, we'll most likely Dynamite, Butter, who standing next to you will be there for like 60 weeks or something. So radio spins is what's making a difference for her. If they break the record of BTS, if they break the record, BTS will get the record back. I am manifesting and putting it into the universe. Yeah. I'm also not scared of that. I mean, this comeback of BTS is going to be wild. It's going to be wild. But I also think that right after this comeback, this promotion is probably going to last at least a year. And I think after that, they also are going to go off on their solo projects before coming back together again as a group. And I think the promotion of BTS as a group is going to do them good in their promotions as individual artists. Um, so so their BTS is going to break the record, and then the individual members will break the record of BTS, and then BTS is going to break the record. It's just going to be a it's just going to be a cycle. So I'm not worried about that. I'm actually looking forward to it. They don't have a US label either. Correct. They do not have, their label remains to be Big Hit. I don't think they have any plans of changing it. But I do hope that HYBE America will make some headways in terms of the problem. The real problem is that HYBE America, or HYBE in general, does not like using the same tricks that many US labels are using, specifically Payola, in a different form, developing relationships with with radio station managers and paying for playlisting and paying for ads. They are not doing that, and you can see it because there are no ads coming out, and they are not on radio. And we have heard Benny Blanco discuss how easy it is for station managers and for the labels to actually put their songs in radio streams, right, in the spins. So if, unless HYBE and Big Hit or the artists are willing to do that, I feel like fans will just have to work harder in getting the streams and the sales. The MV was an ad on YouTube for the longest time too. Yes, I think they still is there. The MV is still an ad in many of the social media platforms. The thing is that, so you'll see it a lot in the first 3 weeks of the month, and I guess they run out of budget, and so the last week usually you won't see it, and it's gonna come back in the next month. So I have absolutely no doubt that they are after the record. No matter what happened, as I've said, Who and Dynamite will always hold the record. Who will always hold the record of having the solo with no collaboration, and then Dynamite will always have the record of group with no collaboration. So Dynamite and Who got their records without radio payola, correct. The song is that popular because of Mars in my humble opinion, I believe he had no choice but to collab on that song, but his music is so far beneath him. It's a bubblegum pop and really not worthy of mention. um, it's catchy. You know, it's like the same way, I guess the same way um, Gangnam Style is catchy. I mean, it's novelty. It's a novelty song. That's what I would classify it to be. It's comedy. I prefer working hard for the guys with no payola. I am going to be honest. I do not really care what other people are doing. I just focus on BTS and celebrating their music, and we will win in the end. That's really what we should do. Let's just let's let's allow them to celebrate. The more you go again, because they what they want is reaction from armies, and the more we give it to them, the more it fuels them to do that, right? So if we stop giving it to them, then they will have no voice. So don't pay attention to them and just focus on BTS. Remember, we still have J Hope's tour going on. He's probably going to release his own album. So he has a third single and probably an album. And then Jin is going to start his tour. And then, of course, in less than a month, right? Less than a month or a little, almost a month now from now, we will have the BTS members back. So why we don't have time for for things like this. Let's just prepare for their return. If there is any project that you think is worth supporting, let me know. I can't start my own project. There's just so many things happening. um so if there's any project that you think is worth mentioning and supporting, let me know. Give me the link and I'll probably support it and I'll promote it. Music is not a competitive sport. Correct. Lie with a Smile is so much better. That song is very strategic. That song they specifically created because they know that people will be playing it for over and over again. There's some there's a song similar to that was created similar for the similar purpose. It's usually used by, I hear it a lot from being used on social media as a background song for mothers with special needs children. Do you know the song that I'm talking about? So they Die with a Smile was created specifically for the same purpose, so that it can be used for videos of the same nature. You know, loving life, loving each other. So it's very, very strategic. Um, I love you for 1,000 years, something like that. I love you for 1,000 more, something like that. MHJ can continue to waste her time and energy on going after BTS, but she can't stop ARMY supporting, which probably drives her crazy that ARMY will continue. The other thing is, before I end this, I only have like 3 minutes. Before I end this, um, just want to didn't JK sing it in the last? I think he did. 1,000 Years. There you go. 1,000 Years is the title. So that song, Die with a Smile, was strategically created for the same purpose as 1,000 Years. Like they saw an opening that this song can actually be used by many creators, creating inspirational videos. So that's why it was such a hit. Yeah. Um Beginnings. Okay. So all right. So let me just before I close, let's concentrate on BTS because we're barely a month away from their comeback. So we really don't have a lot of time. Um Start, if there's anything, just start thinking about like what you want to post when they return, right? And Patreon is always there if you want to coordinate like whatever, if there is a fan project that you want to support that you think is worth supporting, post it on Patreon. And then let's give people an option on Patreon on which project they want to support, right? And I'll choose as well. If there's a worthwhile project that I think will be good, then I will endorse it. But let leave them with their celebration or whatever it is that they want. Leave them. Remember that the reason they're actually all coming back on June is to ride on BTS's coattails. So, and they will succeed if we give them attention, if we pay them any attention. If we ignore them, then nothing will happen. So let's concentrate on BTS. Stream BTS, correct. BTS Forever 7, I agree. The universe had spoken. Anybody saw the James Webb Telescope image of a large disk of star dust around the newly formed star shape like BTS logo? I haven't seen it. Really? I can't believe we lost M Countdown. Come on, vote. M Countdown? I thought we won. Isn't it RM or Jin? I thought we won. Oh, and the other thing is in AMA, so AMA is going to, I know this is a huge issue in army, among armies, but let's cheer on whoever wins. If it is Rose, if it is Atiz or 80s, if it is Stray Kids, Jimin or RM, let's just cheer. Let's be happy for whoever wins. I mean, BTS already won Artist of the Year. You can't go any bigger than that in AMA. So let's just cheer. Uh, let's not participate in this all this drama that's going on. Someone actually posted. I almost retweeted it. Someone posted and said like all this drama, and then Stray Kids wins. Well, probably. But let's not pay attention to all the hate. Let's just come together and stream BTS and be happy. Next live, I'm going to make some announcement on the newsletter, the magazine. And then if there's anybody you want to recommend that I interview, please send it my way. Even if I don't know that person, I can just always slide on their DM. But let me know if there's anybody you want me to interview, artists, animators, musicians, actors. Let me know, and I will try to get them, or experts like the professionals that I've been interviewing. Okay, thank you everybody for staying with me, and I'll see you next.